Yes, if it's Wednesday, and it is, and it's noon, and it is that as well, the wonders of Facebook and the Hemptations Beach page, we bring you the High Noon Hemp Show. Also on YouTube, of course, on demand. Jedi Hemp on YouTube. And now, if you haven't heard, we are a podcast. We're on iHeartRadio, Podbean, Google, all kinds of places. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show. You'll find us everywhere. I am Joe Clare. You can search me if you feel like it. If not, it's no big deal. I got some stuff going on. But you can be interested or not, because today and always the High Noon Hemp Show is focused on hemp and the man himself who knows about the hemp. That's Beach up in Sharonville at the Hemp Quarters. Beach, how are things in the world of hemptations and hemp and Sharonville and all that stuff?
Things are decently okay, I suppose, in the world of hemp. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the High Noon Hemp Show. That's right, I am sitting high atop the Hemptations in Sharonville at the Hemp Quarters. And as Joe said, we're all over the place. iHeart, YouTube, Hemptations.com. There'll be more. We'll update you as we go through the show.
So many places.
Yeah, I say things that are okay only because as it is to be expected, I suppose. I did not expect this. With the passing of SB 57, of course, we're allowed to grow hemp in Ohio now. But, of course, the Department of Agriculture is going to completely screw this thing up, and they are already proceeding to screw this up. In my opinion, they have released some of the stipulations of growing hemp in the United States. Now, I want to tell you that before I start this rant, pay attention, because they are opening public comment for the next 2 weeks. And so get a hold of the Department of Agriculture if you want to farm in Ohio, and get the information yourself and make your own judgment call on some of these things. But right out of the gate, the dumbest, stupidest, most ridiculous thing that they're doing is they're making it a $500 licensing fee. You don't have to pay $500 to grow corn. You don't have to pay $500 to grow soybean. And so right out of the gate, they're saying if you just, want to experiment with this, or you don't have a whole lot of money, that license right out of the gate is already somewhat prohibitive, in my opinion. Also, the 100 feet from a building and the 500 feet from a school and all these kind of, once again, this is not marijuana. This is not what they call marijuana, folks. This is industrial hemp. Why who cares? I mean, I'm sure there's a cornfield. Once again, I'm going to use corn a lot as there's because industrial hemp should be treated like corn. Okay, I realize that it's not, because it has these other things that we have to worry about, which I'll get to in a minute. Now they're crapping on the farmer for this. But the fact of the matter is if we want to treat it, and we should be treating it like any other agricultural commodity in the United States, then we have to treat it, in my opinion, like all the other agricultural commodities. Okay, when the state of Ohio is once again demonizing their regulating this morally, in my opinion, as opposed to regulating it as an agricultural commodity.
Yeah. Just
by the $500 license fee. I think it's $30 to file for your license in Kentucky. I can understand a licensing fee to get registered and all that. I'm not against that, but to make it $500 just to start, that's just the first thing that you've got to pay for in this procedure. $500, and that's per location. So if I want to grow industrial hemp here, and then I want to grow it 5 miles down the road, I have to get 2 different licenses to do that. If it's not the same farm, I guess. I don't. And so again, it's per field, I believe. And here's and again. Now, the fees, here's the fees. Now, that's the license, okay? So that's just the license, so $500 per year per location for the license fee. Here's the fees. Your pre-harvest test is covered. Oh, boy, they're covering your pre-harvest test. Again, if the cultivar is a known industrial hemp cultivar, what does a pre-harvest, pre-harvest means before they're going to harvest. And this is the funny thing, is you have to call them 2 weeks before you're going to harvest for them to come out. That's another part of the fees. That one is free, okay? But then you have $150 for each additional variety, strain, or cultivar, as we like to call it. Variety and cultivar are the same thing. Strain, once again, that's kind of how they do things in the cannabis world when grown for personal use or medicinal, if you don't know. I like to call it a cultivar because in the agricultural commodity community, you call it a cultivar or a variety. Variety is commonly used, as the state of Ohio has decreed. Okay, now if you need a second pre-harvest test for whatever reason, that's $300, and then your post-harvest test is $300. There's no okay, so you have to pay at least $300, and again, once again, this is per cultivar. So if you're growing 5 different cultivars, then you're going to pay $1,500 post-harvest for a fee to have it tested. Okay, and so again, I don't believe that any of that should be appropriate. I think you pay a licensing fee. I think that if they need to come and test your stuff, then they come and test it. I don't know how much. Obviously somewhere, I guess somewhere it needs to be regulated. And of course, they're going to be so in it that I'm sure that they're going to know eventually what the test is for the product. But I do, again, it's too much. It's too much. And I knew this was going to happen because I knew that they were going to set it up so that it was, I don't want to say complicated, but a lot harder than it needs to be to make it harder for people to do it. They're intentionally, in my opinion, a $500 license fee is intentionally saying, we don't really want you to grow this. We don't really want you to do this. And then once again, a $300 post-harvest fee, I think that's somewhat ridiculous, especially if you do okay. Why, if the pre-harvest, the first test is covered, the pre-harvest first test is covered. If that doesn't pop hot, which is what they call having too much THC in this budding CBD industry, if they don't pop hot for that test, why does anything need to be tested again? I don't even know why they need to go any further with anything. It should be done right there. Pre-harvest test, you passed it, go on. Move on with your product and do what you need to do with it. Done. If they need to up the licensing fee to cover that test, fine. I can understand that a little bit. But again, I don't know. They don't go out and test everything in Kentucky. We've got 41,000 acres being grown in Kentucky. There is no way that they are testing all the individual crops, every one of them. There may be, I don't know, maybe they do somehow. And if that's the case, then we need to figure out how Kentucky's covering that, because they don't charge that much to grow. They don't make it all crazy and have to have 3 tests at the end of the year, and everything's got to be covered from here to this and there. It's just, again, it's an overreach of where they need to go. And again, it's because I think that all in all, even though the Department of Agriculture was happy to put seeds in the ground right after the governor signed SB 57, all in all, I don't know how encouraging they're really trying to be as far as growing industrial hemp in Ohio.
And so, seem weird too. Obviously there's not a lot of farms next to schools, but God forbid the kids should learn how to grow something out of the ground. That would be awful if they got some knowledge somehow of how things grow.
Yeah, and here's the deal. I guarantee you go up into the middle of Ohio, and there's a school that's within 50 feet of it, out the back windows, is some agricultural commodity growing. Again, there's no doubt in my mind there. And so, once again, it's like they're trying to protect the kids from something that they don't need to be protected from. But evil hemp. Again, it's going to waft through the windows, maybe. Again, it's just
be much more worried about stuff like poison ivy and things like that, keeping the kids away from poison oak.
Yeah.
And
And maybe you can't grow hemp within 1,000 feet of a school in Kentucky. I don't know. It just seems, again, to demonize it, to make it like it is some illegal, controversial crop when it's not. And it's just steps we don't need to take. Again, it's overreach, in my opinion. You can't have a felony. So once again, you can grow any for 10 years, I believe. And I believe this is any felony, once again. And so no matter what your felony is in, and it may be just drug felonies. I don't know how specific they're getting. Either way, you can grow corn, you can grow soybean, you can grow whatever you want with a drug felony. I'm pretty sure of that. And so once again, here we go. Somehow this particular plant needs to be protected from felons growing it.
You don't know what they'll do. They make jeans or something.
That's right. Make some shampoo out of that. I don't want no damn felon-grown shampoo made out of hemp. No. I mean,
felon-free hemp. There's the only kind of hemp.
Felon-free hemp. It's a new movement, folks, and it's a stupid government movement. This felon-free hemp stuff again. And again, here's the deal. I do believe that's part of the federal law, and so they're really just following that stupid federal stipulation on that one. And so, once again, that's just kind of government overreach where it doesn't need to be. Felons should be able to grow this as well. So anyway, get a hold of your Department of Agriculture in Ohio, if you're in Ohio, and tell them to get rid of all these fees, exorbitant fees. It's just ridiculous. Ask them, does corn, do you have to pay a $500 license, not $500 license to grow corn? Do you have to pay a $500 license to grow cotton? Do you have to pay a $500 license to grow soy? And see what the response is. And then tell them that industrial hemp is no different than any of those. No different than any of those plants in any way. Tell them that the testing fees are ridiculous. You test if you think you need to test, or you do one test, and if they pass one test, then they're done. That should be it. Pre-harvest, post-harvest, I don't care when that test. Once again, shouldn't be 300. Hope that a farmer shouldn't, if they wanted to do it on their own, could do it. I don't know. Again, those times we're in between, but I know that there are approved testing facilities in the state of Ohio already that they could send their industrial hemp to, and they could test it for CBD, all those things. And so I don't know what that costs. Would be interesting to see, but either way, I think it's ridiculous unless, there's suspicion of it being hot or there's got to be less fees, less licensing costs, all that. Again, get over this. Tell them to get over this moral stigma that they have against the plant. It's no different than soybean. It's not going to anyone's educational day if it's growing in the field next door. I promise you this. And so, again, these ridiculous, overreach, and again, those could be federal. I haven't looked that far into the federal laws to see, but I doubt those are specifically mentioned in the federal laws. I don't know, but it shouldn't be so hard. It's really the money thing that gets me the most, because that's going to keep your average person from doing it. And so now, once again, we're just opening it up to big business to come in and say, we can.
Nope.
We can grow 50 acres because that $300 testing. Whoops. Because that $300 testing fee is fine. Anyway, and the average person is going to be like, I can't grow 3 cultivars. I can only grow 1 because I can only afford to have that tested at the end of the year. Although there's a lot of money in CBD. And once again, now we're also making it so everyone's just going to want to grow for CBD, because that's the only way to get your money back to cover all these license fees and all that. So nobody's going to want to grow for fiber, because half their profits are going to go to freaking licensing fees. Grain's the same way. Honestly, in my opinion, when you're paying $1,000 at the end of the day to grow even an acre of grain, no one's going to do that. Even though that's too much eating into the profits. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Going the wrong direction, folks. Going the wrong direction. We were going the right track. now we're good ways, I guess, because we're not going forward. I was going to grow 3 crops. I wanted to do the tri-crop, so to speak, with CBD, fiber, and grain food product. So there's $900 in testing fees. I don't know if that's $1,500 in licenses, probably. Yeah, per. I don't know, because I would do it all at the same location. I don't know. Again, I just. It's just dumbfounded to think how ridiculous the whole thing is. In all honesty, when it comes to the fees, they just need to get rid of those high, stupid fees, the license and stuff, and make it easier for the average person to go on. All right, well, that's my rant for SB 57. Get a hold of them. Get a hold of the Department of Agriculture in Ohio if you plan on farming or not farming in Ohio. Tell them just how ridiculous and anti-fair. It's really anti-fair to up. So we'll see if that changes. I will stay on it. We'll stay on it, and we'll keep trying to move forward with this stuff in Ohio. So I don't know if I mentioned it, but we got a cease and desist on the billboard recently, because I didn't own that image, even though it's me. And it is true that it's he who clicks owns the pics. That's the motto around here. So I took my own click, my own pick. It's not necessarily as good, but here's the new and improved me holding our particular Hemptations brand CBD in the picture, which I kind of like. Pick. It's back up in the same location on the east side of Cincinnati right now. But yeah, that was kind of an interesting cease and desist that I got there. They're pretty serious about it, so we took care of it. Now we're good. I should be getting the old billboard, and I'm gonna do something to the picture maybe, and then put it up somewhere. Who knows? So that's the new pick. New billboard up and about. The old product spotlight, talking about products. And again, this product should be in any one of the locations, 3 in Cincinnati, 1 in Dayton. You can go to hemptations.com for the store info if you so desire.
Actually, if you're watching the Facebook or the YouTube video, all the pertinent links you need are in the description of the video. Also, our Podbean page has a lot of links to the YouTube and the online store and iHeart and Google and all that stuff. So just start clicking links and you'll get to where you need to be eventually. You'll click the right one.
Do it. You can do it.
And a lot of links to hemptations.com, of course, as well.
Greenfield Paper Company. We love them. And this is just a regular notebook. It's got a nice little piece on it. I think that this particular notebook has a couple different images on the front of it. So if you're one that likes to carry a notebook or take notes and whatnot, that's from the Greenfield Paper Company. The next one is, we actually have the Good Hemp drinks right now, but they've released a line called Fizz. And so this is the Good Hemp Fizz, and this does have CBD, as well as I think some probiotics. It's only 35 calories. And I think if it's the same as the water, and I don't see it on here anywhere specifically, there's 20 milligrams of CBD in there. It's just a littler can that they have added the old seltzer fizz to, so to speak. And Good Hemp, I like their Good Hemp. Again, it's not over flavored. They're vegan, and I think they're trying to use healthier. It even says fiber infused, I believe. So that's interesting. Yeah. And so all kinds of good stuff going on with the Good Hemp drinks that you can get at all the locations of Hemptations. The next one is, amongst all the controversy among vape cartridges, this is a new company to us, I guess. And obviously you don't have anything to worry about. There's not going to be any cyanide or whatever it is in our cartridges. I don't believe these are all legitimate, probably tested for or whatever anyway. But people do still want to get their CBD with the vape because it is one of the quickest ways to get it into your system. And they're a glass C-cell cartridge with 220 milligrams of pure CBD, and it comes with some different terpene flavors, I believe, as well. If you need that. The last one, because it's finally cold here in Cincinnati, we went straight from summer that was no fall, and then I think right into winter possibly. This is just a shot of the hemp hoodlamp jacket out on the rack at the Sharonville location. I think we're going to permanently discount the styles because we've had them around for a while. Selection in Sharonville, but if you go to any location, you're looking for a particular hemp hoodlamp coat that we have the style over the color. We might have that size down here because most of the back stock is in Sharonville, and so let the person working know. And if you're out in the world somewhere and you're looking for a particular hemp hoodlamp jacket that may be roughly 5 years old, we've got them all new in the box, except for the ones that are on the rack, and so we might have what you're looking for. It's hard to say. And that's the 4 from my store with the product spotlight. Now, the one from my door is actually a collection of ones from my, which is our particular shoppings. The reusable shopping bags that we have. This is just a handful that I gathered up at the house this morning. This is, what we take to the store whenever we need shopping bags or traveling or whatever. We have a lot of hemp reusable bags laying around the house, and it is a great product, reusable product to use, so you don't have to use grocery bags at the grocery, and that type of stuff as well. I know I've got 2 or 3 in my Jeep, blah blah blah, and so get yourself, everybody's doing it, a reusable shopping bag. So there you have it. That's the product spotlights. Once again, 4 from the store, 1 from my door. Head into any of the locations. I'm not doing the best of jobs, but I swear I'm going to still try to build up more products on the Planet Everywhere retail site online, so you can go there and get our CBD and stuff like that. So I'm going to start getting some more of the other hemp products up there for you to purchase, no matter where you are. I don't know. I guess we do. I don't think we do international shipping, to be honest with you. Not for as cheap as our shipping is. But anyway, now on to what we know is Internet and Joe's favorite part of the day.
The best thing.
It's just the best.
I imagine all the nude people sitting in front of their computers, their laptops, just waiting. They're like, "What am I going to put on? I feel dumb. I got places to go, but I can't get dressed until I get some tips from Beach, some beachwear, if you will." We do ask the most important question you'll hear all day. To get the most important answer you'll get all day: what are you wearing, Beach?
That's right, folks. If you did wake up, or just waking up now, and you need motivation to inspire you as to what to wear, and you're saying to yourself, "What are you wearing, Beach?" Here is today's hemp outfit. Again, finally, I guess it's jacket weather. So I broke out my my Joe Rocket jacket. This is a biker jacket. I have 2 of these, but I've taken the pads out, but fully padded. So I think it had a forearm pad, shoulders, back pad, all zip out of the jacket for the real rider. Matt, I'm looking your way. If you're watching the show, I know you're a real rider, but that's a hemp jacket, again, fully padded. It comes fully padded, if they still make them. And I know Joe Rocket, I know, is the brand name. They're pretty big out there in the motorcycle world, in the riding world. Got my officially licensed Hempstead Beatles hat on. That's I have a wallet to match that, I believe, somewhere. My hemp hoodlamp. Speaking of hemp hoodlamp, make hemp tea, or make hemp not war tea on. I do love my hemp hoodlamp stuff. I love Bad boxer briefs. You can find those, I believe, on Amazon. The I&I cargo pants. I love these. Originally, I found these on Hempist. I don't know if they still exist or not, but you can try. Green Springs Technology pen. You can see it. It's there in my pocket. Satori Canna socks, and the Wicked boots, which we are need to go back and check. We're eagerly waiting for Wicked to release a full new line of boots, and so I will keep everybody abreast of there if we get those, and when we get those in, for sure you will find them here at the High Noon Hemp Show. So if you woke up this morning and said, "Hey, can I dress in hemp every day?"
Indeed.
Well, yes, you can, and there you have just another day. And it's not just Wednesdays, folks. I don't break this out, and I haven't counted, but I know that I'm in at least day 50-ish or something of a different hat, and so I am going to I'm trying to stretch out all my hat collection out as long as I can, every day, and I'm almost up to 2 months wearing a different hat every day. Hemp hat, folks. So there you have it.
Check in the chat room. Also, I know I'm going to butcher this, but I'll try it anyway. Xenobin Adams, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
If I screwed up your name, I'm sorry. I do that to a lot of people. Unless it's like Tom or Frank or something like that. I'm horrible with names.
But know that we love you, and we thank you bunches for watching. And if you're not watching live, then you're probably watching at the YouTube channel, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, or possibly listening to the podcast on all the podcast, iHeart and Podbean and Google.
Subscribe,
something,
and follow, and like, and all that stuff.
That's right.
Wherever they make you do.
whatever they make you do, wherever you are, however you want to do it. Little bit of news going on in the world, I suppose. Unfortunately, we carried these guys' products for a minute, and then they went to bulk only. But Victory Hemp is having problems actually getting seed. They opened up a plant in Vermont, and then they had to almost instantly close it. And this is Victory Hemp out of Kentucky. But they were actually having problems getting grain seed for food product, which is disheartening at the very least, because I think growing for grain is important, and the fact that because everybody is doing the CBD, unfortunately, that they can't find a good supply of grain, it doesn't make me happy, because there's a huge food product industry in the United States, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be growing that hemp here, processing that hemp here, and eating that hemp here. I got nothing against the Canadians, because that's where we get most of our hemp grain food products from. But I want to be buying it from Victory Hemp in Kentucky. I want it to be buying my locally grown if I can. And I believe in the whole world. I'm not against the whole world. I'm not against buying stuff from around the world. But there's no reason why why our neighbors and our people here close to us can't profit and enjoy the benefit, and the planet, for that matter, can enjoy the benefit of hemp growing.
That's right. If you don't like Canadians, it's a good way to stick it to them.
Yeah. It's so much less labor intensive on the planet, in all honesty. So that's too bad. And then the USDA turns around, and they're going to spend $500,000 at Virginia Tech to study the path of hemp and switchgrass pollens. And so if you're, and again, we know that pollens can travel great distances. Hemp is a male, has a male and a female, and so therefore the flower needs the pollen to seed, and so you need that male germination to, if you're growing for grain. Once again, when it comes to CBD, it's the opposite. They don't want the pollen, but that's what they're really trying to study, I think, is. And this is why, and I forgot to mention this, you can't grow industrial hemp within 1,000 feet or a certain amount of distance of a medical marijuana grow facility in the state of Ohio. That was also one of the stipulations of SB 57. And that would make sense, other than the fact that they're all indoor. And so I don't know, and they're supposed to be clean, highly filtered and whatnot. So I don't know how the industrial hemp pollen would get in there. But I kind of almost understand that, because that should mess things up. That's always been our argument. Us pro-industrial hemp farmer backers say, well, if you grow industrial hemp in the middle of cannabis for recreational or personal use, it's going to degrade. It's going to make those flowers go to seed if there's pollen there. And so, It's going to degrade what you're growing it for. But the USDA is going to they're going to have hard data on how far that pollen flies, and how much of a risk it is to cross-pollinate industrial hemp field that may be, down the way, I guess. So that's kind of interesting. And, so the government's really jumping on board with at least trying to figure things out, I suppose, with the old hemp as an agricultural commodity. Interesting little thing going on in the alcohol world in Connecticut with hemp. You have Sono 1420, which is the brand name. They're doing they're calling it a BBN because they can't call it a bourbon because it has too much hemp in it, and a rye whiskey with hemp. And so this is kind of interesting. This didn't print out very good, but and again, they call it 1420. This is one of the most interesting things because when the Senate voted for prohibition in 1919, the vote was 14-20. And so that's what they've got the 20. Obviously, you can picture the bottle. It's like the 1 is dark, and then the 420 is a little bit lighter on their bottles. And so they're obviously making a play on that, but that's not why it's there originally. It was a prohibition thing. But the BBN, again, they can't call it a bourbon. It's 75% corn, 15% rye, and 10% milled hemp seed. And then the rye whiskey is 75. It's the same mix, but I guess there's a different. I don't know the difference between distilling for whiskey and distilling for bourbon. Other than bourbon, I believe has to be in a barrel, possibly. I don't know how that works, but anyway, in Kentucky they know. But this is going on in Connecticut, so Kentucky, hey, Kentucky farmers, not growing for grain. Of course, everyone's growing for CBD. Apparently, anybody that does want to grow for grain, get with your local bourbon makers because they're all over in Kentucky, and your whiskey makers, so to speak. 10% milled hemp seed. It says. So check that out. I don't know if it's available to ship online, but again, they're Sono, SONO 1420 is I think the line maybe of these two bourbon whiskey, BBN and rye whiskey. So that's kind of fun. And if you like your bourbons and your whiskeys, that's kind of fun. Add that to your collections. Here's kind of an interesting thing. The Arthritic Foundation or the Arthritic Society did a survey of over 2,500 arthritic sufferers, and came up with some interesting. I think 79% said that they'd either tried it once or heard of CBD. 29% said they were currently using it for their arthritis. And so in that, we do have a lot of customers that come in and buy or a combination of cream and tincture for arthritis. This I know for sure. I just waited on one just the other day. And it says here the primary reason for the CBD use was to relieve pain. I think 71% of the patients report that using CBD had improved their ability to sleep. And again, I think that's a part of that, just saying how they use it for pain and how it was working for pain for these people also helps you get a better sleep, because if you're not in pain, it's easier to sleep. It just kind of makes sense. Yeah. Report improvement in their physical function after using CBD. Over 30% say it provides relief from morning stiffness and helps them get moving. 3/4 report improvements in their ability to sleep. That's at 71%. And over 30% it helped relieve symptoms of fatigue. And so, this is the people speaking. These are the testimonials that we love to give because these, that's a decent amount of people in that small little group that are obviously seeing relief and benefits. And so more and more proof out there through testimonials that CBD does help, and specifically with arthritis. And so if that's an issue for you, again, I always recommend starting with the tincture or the cream if you want to target it. And then the tincture kind of gets it running through. And I think those people that, again, I think you get up and you use a little tincture and you put a little cream on your hands and your joints maybe. And once again, it gets that almost instant relief going, and then you can get up and get moving. That's, the proof that I think we've been seeing. The proof is in the pudding, as they say, but here it's in the poll. The proof is in the poll. And that was, again, done by an arthritis group. It wasn't just 2,500 people on the street. It was 2,500 people that they know already are suffering with arthritis. All right, let's get on to some events. We got a little bit here to finish up through October and the beginning of November anyway, and we're getting everybody on with the rest of their day. I'd like to remind everyone that you can go to hemptations.com for the events. The first page at hemptations.com has the events that we're directly related to, or Hemptations is. And then the second page, the About page, has the list of events that I mentioned here on the show and more information. If you want to, if it's somewhere in your area of the world and you want to be reminded, or I usually put, if I can, connections and whatnot there. Again, that's hemptations.com. Boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. I just added those sound effects for fun. All right, there's some good stuff tomorrow down in Lexington. You got the Henry Clay Hemp Social. The 18th. You've got the Hemp Harvest Party in Longmont, Colorado, Saturday or the 19th. If those add up, you have a hemp building workshop in Tremont, Maine, and also October 18th, if you're in Asheville, North Carolina, is the Franiversary Block Party at Franny's Pharmacy in Nashville. And also on the 19th, a busy day for celebrating hemp, in my opinion, Eau Claire's first annual Hemp and Harvest Festival in Eau Claire, Michigan is going on. All in the next couple, 3 days or so. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the next couple, 3 days. October 24th and 25th, you've also got the U.S. Hemp Building Summit in Ketchum, Idaho. So if you're out in that area next week, it's coming up real soon. The building thing is very, very interesting. You get yourself trained and then go out and build some hemp stuff. November 1st through the 4th in Charlotte, you've got the HIA, the Hemp Industry Association conference going on. So if you're in that area, get involved with that. And then also November 3rd through the 5th, you have the Florida Industrial Hemp Conference and Exhibition in Orlando, Florida. And so that's kind of interesting. Not sure what's going on. November 7th, this is in Pennsylvania. You have the Hemp Fiber Symposium. And so if you're really interested in the fiber part and you're in Pennsylvania, that sounds very interesting in Pennsylvania. It is free, but you do need a reservation. And again, I'll put more information up on our website about how you can get a reservation for the Hemp Fiber Symposium in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And then November 16th and 17th, you've got Hemp at the Crossroads in Indiana. And November 16th, you've got the Kentucky Hemp CBD Symposium and Expo down in Louisville. So that's going to be very interesting, I suppose, as far as hemp stuff going on. So that gets us through for about the next month, I think, with some events. 19th and the 20th of November, you got the International Hemp Auction in Nashville. Could be interesting. And that's about it. Nothing in December. So once again, you can go to hemp.com for more stuff mentioned there on the High Noon Hemp Show. And don't forget to like us and love us and listen and watch and all that all over on all those platforms that you can. Send a friend if you can't watch live. And remember how much we love all of you Ohioans, get a hold of the Department of Ag before it's too stupid and too late, or too late and too stupid. Um, I don't like cursing like that. I have to use the S word. I will.
That's right. Beach means business.
That's right. When I start using stupid, then I mean business.
Don't be
It's a
stupid.
bad word. It was my oldest son thought that was a bad word until and again, I kind of think it is, but
It's not the greatest.
it's not the greatest word on the planet, that's for sure. But he literally thought it was a bad word until he was like 10 years old. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Remember to reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
See you all next week.